You're listening to the oneofus.net podcast network.
Something's coming.
Stand by. Hold on to your hats. Here we go.
Welcome to the Screamcast, episode 125. I am Sean DeRager, and with me is Brad Henderson.
Yo, Sean and everybody, what's up?
We promised BJ will be joining us on some future episodes. She's had a busy and somewhat rough couple of weeks, so she's dealing with some shit. So we're hoping to have her back next week, and we will keep you guys in the loop about all that. So we miss her. We miss her terribly. There's a hole in my heart when BJ's not on the show.
I miss her.
I almost want to start singing an 80s love ballad.
Please don't sing.
No, it
or do
reminds me of a
any more.
time that... I'm just kidding.
Let's not do any impersonations either.
You can check out past podcast episodes over at thescreamcast.com. You can check us out also at oneofus.net every week, which... and check out all their other shows as well over at oneofus.net. I always forget to mention them. I apologize. But they have a bunch of other great podcasts you should check out as well. And they have like a main feed that you can subscribe to. So you get our show and all the other awesome shows on oneofus.net. So do that if you can. You can also tweet along as you're listening to the show. I love it when people do that. Scream_cast. And we have a handful of you that do that, and it's super fun whenever you guys are listening. So keep that up. And we're on Facebook and shit, too. So, all right, today we are talking about a DVD, Brad. We're talking about a DVD.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit.
We're going to be talking about Intervision's latest release, Murderlust, along with they added in as a special feature, Project Nightmare, the director's first feature. So we'll be talking about that in just a little bit.
Project Nightmare's his first? I don't think that's true.
Okay, not his first. One of his earlier ones, though. Could have the wrong information.
Yeah, I don't think that's his first movie.
It says plus second hit feature.
Yeah, that's his big hit. It blew up at the box office, made like $60 billion.
It's directorial debut, man. It says right here. Bonus second feature, Jones's trippy directorial debut.
Dude, you need to relax. Donald
Jones. We also are bringing back our VHS Oh My God segment and Stream Screams. So stick around.
Wow, you did a really good job with the Oh My God.
Before we get started with the What's in a Doorstep, I need to, I'm gonna try to tone down my impersonations. I want to apologize to our Scottish listener for my Gerard Butler impersonation. If anyone was offended, I'm sorry, and I know that's a lame way to do an apology, but I'm not really sorry. Moving right along, let's jump into What's on our Doorstep.
Holy cow, I almost forgot.
We'll get the door.
Cool.
You're so, I love how energetic you are. There's like a 3 hour...
I'm super excited.
Oh, man. 3 hour difference. And I'm like, my kids are just getting to bed, and like my night is finally starting, and like, meanwhile, you've been up, 3 hours ahead of me, and you're ready to fall asleep because you're an old man.
Yo, where to bed at?
I'll show you a bed.
Ooh. Yes, please.
All right. Since you have a million things you're probably going to have in this segment, I will go first, as usual.
Okay.
I wanted to briefly mention I had got the Arrow reissue of Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Oh, man.
And let me tell you, man, I've been wanting this Blu-ray for so long. So when they announced that they were reissuing it, it's a Region B only. When they announced that they were reissuing it, I popped like the biggest boner known to man.
Boners.
Or ordered it right away. Looks fantastic. Why the hell isn't this out in like a U.S. release? Like, what's the deal with that?
Because they're trying to do all the movies in the series. Did I mention I took cough syrup?
Oh shit! Here we go.
That's the reason why I didn't tell Sean this, because we were moving so quick. But I took a bunch of fucking NyQuil, and that's the reason why I was so sleepy. So I suckered you into recording.
This could get interesting, because normally I'd be like, dude, sleep it off.
Last time this happened, I got a little yeah.
We'll see how this goes, everyone. All right. So you're saying
they're prepping for a big box set. No, I'm kidding. The rest of those movies suck. I think there's like 4 or 5 Hell Frogtown movies, and they're just bad, man. They're just bad. Well, they're fun.
It's weird that it's not out. It's weird that there's this beautiful, gorgeous Blu-ray in the UK. This is why I need to be region-free, people. Anyway, it looks gorgeous. It's fantastic. It's out. So if you missed it the first time around, it's out now, and it's gorgeous. Grab it.
Yeah.
Next up, along with that order, I had pre-ordered their release of The Guyver, and this has a German release as well. There's a few different releases. There's one that's a quote-unquote like uncut version, which the German release I had I don't think was uncut. I think there's like a box one that has like 2 different versions or something. German box. The German release I had, it was the exact same length as this one. So
yeah, the Cult Classics Collection people.
Is that the uncut version, or is that just the...
That's the uncut, because it's got the extra gore and stuff.
See, I watched it. I didn't really notice it. So
it's VHS is when they show it.
Yeah, I didn't notice it, man. I don't know. Anyway.
Dang, dude, you didn't notice that VHS quality?
I didn't. Plus one,
it should look like 1080p.
I think those whatever Cult Epics, whatever. I think they had released 2 different
Cult Epics.
Cult Epics.
Never touched the guy.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting everything wrong. You're
making
me
Cult Classics Collections.
You're making me nervous because you're
CCC. CCC.
Yeah, I think they did 2 versions, man. I think the one that I had bought was just this, what they call the director's cut, but it's basically the cut version. But anyway, it's out. It's The Guyver. It looks great. I don't know. I don't really care about the extra monster gore anyway, but it's fantastic. If you're a fan of goofy flicks like The Guyver, Arrow did a bang up job on it, so I had to give them a shout out.
Good. Way to go, Arrow.
I finally cracked open my Scream Factory Bubba Hotep.
Oh, cracked it.
And fucking love this movie, man.
I don't know, man. I gotta rewatch it. I've only seen it one time.
It's almost even better this time around because, it's basically 2 old dudes who are having kind of identity crisis in a way, battling this ancient demon. But the movie's really about, like, getting old. And, like, what if Elvis really did live and get into an old folks' home and had, like, cancer on his dick and stuff like that. And,
damn.
And in the meantime, they have to battle a demon. But I love the movie. Bruce Campbell is this is probably my favorite role of his. I just love his Elvis role here. Ossie Davis, top form. I love Ossie Davis. He's fantastic. So anyway, as probably up there with one of my favorite Don Coscarelli flicks, after Phantasm.
Damn.
It's really good, man. I was surprised.
I gotta rewatch it. I've only seen it once. I remember renting it at Blockbuster, and I was not a fan. And I've only seen it once, but that was years and years and years ago.
I think you'll have a different experience this time around. I loved it.
Will I, Sean?
Huh?
Will I?
I think you will. I think you will. It's kind of like I love it when a movie ages well. Like when you watch it again. And
I have no reason why not to watch it again. I'll be more than happy. Because I've liked Don Coscarelli's movies.
Yeah. Well, there's a great interview.
Pretty much all of them.
There's a great interview with Don Coscarelli on here, and a great interview with Bruce Campbell. I love hearing that dude talk.
Phantasm 4 is not very good.
And finally, I watched the DVD of The Gate with my daughter, I was going to try to wait till it came out on Blu-ray, but she came in the room holding the Gate DVD. And when your daughter comes in with the Gate DVD and says she wants to watch it, you say, hell yeah, let's do this. So we sat down, we popped in the Gate, and she absolutely loved it. The little creatures freaked her out, and she had a lot of fun kind of going along with this flick. And this would make a perfect double feature with Joe Dante's The Hole. Although I believe this one would be more entertaining. But she kept talking about... Hole. She kept talking... Well, her and I watched The Hole a few weeks back, and she kept talking about how these two were similar, and she loved the idea that they were kind of similar, but that there was kids discovering a hole. Like she thought that was just like fun coincidence. But I'm on my way with helping her discover some horror movies, and I put the call out on Twitter the other day, and a lot of people were giving me a bunch of kid-friendly horror. I know you didn't you write an article for us about kid-friendly horror? I never
published it.
You never published it, all right.
I have it.
So I made a letterboxed list, and her and I are going to start kind of banging through that list. So it's going to be a lot of fun. My son, who's 9, he wants nothing to do with horror movies at all.
No, what I had, and the reason why I didn't do it is because it takes so long, is that I did years, like how to ease your child into horror so you don't scare them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I started off with really small things, and then, you take a movie that's a little bit heavier and you interject it to see kind of the response. And then, if you get that was a little too scary, you go back, you take it back a notch, that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I did with, Willow. We were watching horror movies, and then I was like, hey, let's watch The Ring. And then it was crazy because, after the initial opening sequence and then the music, she just started crying, and then I turned it off, and I was like, all right, we're not going to watch this. So I turned it off. I stowed it away for a few months. We watched some other stuff, and then she's like, hey, remember that movie that I cried in? And I was like, yeah. She's like, let's try that again. And we watched it, and she was fucking freaking out, but she didn't want to turn it off.
Right.
So you just have to be easy, because I know a lot of adults don't like horror films because of their parents making them watch them. And they just don't like it anymore.
I think that's what's up with my wife, because she used to watch horror flicks with her dad, and she kind of just would do it just to kind of be close to him, and it kind of she didn't really like it, you know what I mean? And it was yeah. So she has seen Carrie. I was really surprised when she told me she'd seen Carrie. She's like, "Isn't that the movie with the girl in the prom?" And I was like, "Whoa, hold up, you've seen this?" She's like, "Yeah, I saw it with my dad." I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, I never want to see it again." So.
Neither do I.
All right, man. What you got? What's on your doorstep?
Did I just publicly say I don't really like Carrie? Yes, I did. I don't have much of a big list, I don't think. I'm going to start off with something weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just a weird to start off with. I always heard about this movie because it was the first African director making a movie. Is made in 1966, so it's a little bizarre. Kind of the tone of the film and the statement that's there. I mean, the statement's not bizarre. Of course, it's about racism, but it's called Black Girl, directed by, I cannot do this name, especially with NyQuil, Ousmane Sembene. I guess I could say it. Maybe I can. But it's a movie with a voiceover about a woman that is basically, lives in poverty and is chosen by a white family to take her to France. And, I'm going to be this maid. I'm going to see the sights in France. I'm going to live a good life now because this is away from poverty. And it ends up that she is literally just another slave in this white family where she just cleans and cooks and takes care of the kids. And there's a little bit more to it, but that's kind of... The movie's only 60 minutes long, so, you know, if I tell you the other part, it gives everything away. But it's just a really fascinating movie because she doesn't speak through the whole entire movie. It's just her as a voiceover, but everybody else has dialogue. She just doesn't say anything. So it's kind of unique in that way. Kind of a, you know, it's a statement, but also I wish there was a little bit more. I wish it was longer, I guess, because it felt like they rushed the ending too fast, and then it got confusing for a moment. And like you can feel the buildup, but once that last 15 minutes hits, it moves a little too quick, and they get the point across. But I feel that could have done a little bit better if they extended it maybe another 15 minutes. But anyways, it's a fascinating movie. I've always kind of wanted to see it, so Criterion put it out in a 4K restoration. It's black and white. It looks great. Next up, I got around to Cult Epics has this side label now. This NyQuil's starting to hit me. Has a side label now called Real Gore Releasing. Their first movie was Violent Shit the Movie, which I had a hard time watching that movie. They released one of my favorite giallos, Masks. They released The Curse of Dr. Wolfenstein, which I was not the biggest fan of. It had some cool moments. And then now this movie was made in this movie is made in 2011. Oh man,
I've been meaning to talk to you about this because it just showed up in the mail the other day.
The Orphan Killer. So I guess I didn't put two and two together until this release came out. Real Gore Releasing is just very independent blood movies is what he's releasing on this label, it feels. Yeah. So I remember seeing, because the director would sell, these online, Blu-rays, his own, bootlegs. But, I mean, it was his film. He did it himself. So I always remember hearing about this film that never got distribution over here. So I really didn't think anything of it. Because, honestly, these B-movies that are made underground that are distributed by the filmmakers themselves normally are not that great. I love the passion behind it. I love how these guys do make a living. I think it's awesome. Are the movies good? Not really. Are they fun? Sometimes. So I popped in The Orphan Killer. I had a lot of fun with it. I will say that. It was not what I expected. It's got this odd timing metal soundtrack.
Yeah, someone was saying it was the death metal serial killer movie or something like that.
Yeah, it's got death metal that just plays all through. They have this cover, this heavy metal cover of Cry Little Sister that plays throughout the movie.
Wow.
But I tell you what, man, the special effects in this movie, they're really, really good. Some of the gore sequences are fantastic. The acting is decent. The only problem I have with the film is that once it hits about an hour into the film, there's a torture scene that happens for way, 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 way too long. And it kills the movie, I feel. Because it had this kind of groovy pace. And then it just stops, and it's just now I'm watching one of these gore horror flicks that I'm just not a fan of. I mean I like gore and I like running around and the slaughter that's happening in these movies, but when it focuses on one person, it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I just get bored.
Well, it just kills the momentum.
Yeah, and it was doing a good job. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie, and I actually ended up liking it. But it was just once it hits that hour mark, man, it just falls flat, and then it picks up again, and it does. It redeems itself. Next up, oh man, You ready for this?
I'm ready, man.
I didn't know Warner Archive released this on DVD. I found out they released it on DVD. I was like, holy shit, how did I miss this? They released Airborne on DVD. I used to watch this movie as a kid all the fucking time. I was just like, I completely forgot about it. And then when I saw the cover, I was like, holy shit. I was like, I remember that movie. The surfer kid who rollerblades and then has to play hockey and then fights the Johnny Cage replacement from Mortal Kombat Annihilation in it.
Nice. This was Seth Green, isn't it?
Seth Green. So basically it's this... I don't even think this kid did anything else. This lead character, he lives in L.A., he's a surfer dude. He rollerblades down to the beach to surf. His parents get a job as like some biologist thing in Australia. He can't go, so he's sent to like fucking Cincinnati or some shit to live with his aunt and uncle for 6 months. And of course, it's a completely different, it's not tubular dude. It's more or less like hockey, sports. And everybody's like uptight, and he's just like radical, man, and like all like, surfer lingo, surfer attitude. And he ends up, getting in this little hockey thing. It's a silly teen comedy, but, not seeing it for years, and I watched it with Willow, it actually has a lot of charm to it. It's not stupid. It's just, it's really just, it's a fun little movie, which I didn't expect it, because a lot of those times, like I've said it on the show countless times, is when you rewatch these movies that you liked as a kid, man, they're just like I've said 1,000 times, people get nostalgia confused. Like they're like, oh man, it's so good. No, the movie's not good. You just remember it being good, and it's part of your childhood.
Yeah.
Flight of the Navigator is not a good movie, people.
Yeah, but I love it so much.
And Airborne's not a good movie either. It's one of those things where, you see it and it's like, kind of like Dutch. Dutch is one of my favorite, like, movies as a kid. Like, Dutch was something that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'll watch at any point. It's just a movie, but it's just, it has its charm. It serves its purpose. It doesn't try to be any more than it is, and it's just, a comedy. Have you never seen Dutch?
I've never seen Dutch.
Dude, so good. Ethan Embry before he was popular.
Damn it, I need to see that. It's one of those I've always seen and been like, yeah, I should probably watch Dutch at some point. I should watch that, and I never do. One movie that that really I watched later on in life, and I've I still love it, but it as an adult watching it, you're like, oh man, it shits the bed in the last act. Is Explorers, Joe Dante's The Explorers.
God, dude, I don't like that movie at all.
I love, even like as a kid, I loved it so much, man. I watched that movie probably more than Star Wars as a kid. Whoa, I loved it. Like whenever my parents it would be my choice to pick a movie, I would always pick Explorers for some reason. I don't understand. My parents, God bless them, man, they had to have been sick of seeing that movie, but I loved it so much. And then I watched it again as I was older, like probably college age, and I was like, oh yeah, that ending doesn't work, But like the first part of it is great with these kids figuring out how to build a spaceship and all this kind of stuff. But the reasons why they have to build a spaceship and everything, it just gets goofball at the end. But then I watched it with my kids now that I'm a dad, and they absolutely loved it. So it's like, it's weird with these movies. Like I think I've mentioned this before. Like I'll recognize that, yeah, it's not a good movie. But then when my kids watch it, I kind of see it through their eyes, and I can appreciate it. But Explorers, man, like when I watch it, I'm like, God, that ending does not hold up. It's a great movie up till when they finally get into space. But when they get into space, it's ridiculous.
Airborne, the ending doesn't add up either, because when it ends, you're like, wait a second, aren't you supposed to be doing so? It's like, I don't know if I ever mentioned on the show the Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, like from the what's those people's names? Rankin Bass.
Yeah, Rankin
people?
Bass. Mm-hmm.
That in the original movie when they aired it, he never went back to the Island of Misfit Toys.
Oh,
they just left their asses there. And then so many people complained that like a year later they went back and they filmed.
That's awesome.
The ending. So when Rudolph, then they go back to Island of Misfit Toys and start throwing them out of the sleigh to kill him. That's actually all like, newer footage from the original. That's kind of how Airborne is, because Airborne ends and you're like, dude, aren't you like supposed to go back to California? So anyways, that's that. And then next up, since you were so nice, Sean, and you gave too short of a review, I'm gonna talk about Blair Witch here for a second.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna spend too much time on it.
All right.
I finally got around to watching Blair Witch, the sequel to the iconic found footage movie from 1999, 98, whatever it came out. I tell you what, I'm a huge fan of Winger and I'm a huge fan of Barrett. So if anybody's going to do a Blair Witch movie, I think it would probably be best if Eisner or Adam Wingard did it. And so I was really happy that this pair got together to do this. But you would think that after all the found footage movies we have, how frowned upon found footage movies there are, we would try to do something new. And
they had a drone, Brad. They tried to do drone that gets stuck in a tree.
And it doesn't pay off. Every gag you think is going to happen, nothing happens. I'm sorry, but this movie is the reason why people hate found footage movies. This is, if you took Barrett's and Wingard's name off of this is every single found footage movie that is just bland. And that's what Blair Witch is. I'm not going to say it's terrible.
No, it's a run-of-the-mill found footage.
I like found footage movies. I watched it, and, like, let's say if they called this The Woods, like originally it was titled.
Yeah.
If I watched it, it'd be like, okay. All right, whatever. It was fun. But being that you're calling it Blair Witch and you're making a sequel to a movie that revolutionized movies. Like, Blair Witch just wasn't a found footage movie. It's a landmark movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's the package deal, man. It's
extremely independent movie.
Yeah, and the marketing.
Into theaters. It was passed off as real at first. People believed it. It did amazingly well at the box office. It made a new step for independent cinema getting into the box office. It created even though there were found footage movies before, I get that.
It put found footage on the map, though.
Yeah, Blair Witch Project was like, holy shit, we can make movies with video cameras by ourselves without a production team. So I wanted more out of it. Instead, we get not even a movie remotely scary. We don't even get something that is, because I think the original Blair Witch movie, even upon rewatches, is eerie. But that's because the actors were actually really fucking, not really acting. That's, if you know the story behind Blair Witch, that's them. Like, these fucking directors scared the shit out of them in the woods. Like, that's real reactions. That's the reason why it's so good, is because it's like actors just can't do that.
But Brad Miska said that horror will never be the same.
Well, no, I didn't mean like, that. But, I mean, actors can be scared, but there's this certain intensity behind Blair Witch, behind those actors, and I say actors, but behind those people's eyes that feels so real, and that's why it works. Even the best actors in the world, I don't know if you can actually feel that. Like, you're just like, oh man, they're so good at acting. This is like, oh my god, they're legitimately fucking scared, But I just didn't get that with this movie. It just follows every fucking same suit that every found footage movie does, and doesn't go off the rails, doesn't do anything new.
Also, I was hoping with the drone stuff that would be like, all right, here we go. Like, this is something, like, you can actually, You know what I mean? Like maybe do something with that, but
like how creepy would it have been if they started the drone out of the ground, it lifted up and saw an open field, and then you just saw a black figure sitting in the field? That could have been a payoff, but they didn't do anything like that.
It goes nowhere.
Anything. You don't see anything from the drone, and it spends so much goddamn time on it. And there's that time thing that's in the movie that is completely confusing, doesn't pay off. And I don't know, man. I was just really disappointed in this movie.
I thought it was just okay. Like, I wonder what would happen if they would have called it The Woods and let people figure out for themselves that it was a sequel to Blair Witch. I think maybe that would have worked. I think that would have at least would have worked. The surprise of it. I think they shit the bed a little bit when they announced it as Blair Witch, and it was a marketing decision. Like, they could have released it as The Woods, and people would have figured it out, and people would have been like, "Oh my god!" And because there's not that expectation.
Yeah,
like as soon as you call it Blair Witch,
you're expecting something.
Yeah, so I don't know, but for me, man, like I'm not a huge fan of the original. Like, I get the importance of it, but I've never really been all about it. I saw it once. Or a couple, and then I rented it a couple times on VHS, and I had the Blu-ray sitting here. I haven't revisited, but I've never been a huge Blair Witch fan. I like the idea, but the film, never really did a whole lot for me. But I'm a huge fan of Book of Shadows, like that. I mean, I actually liked that they went totally different, and that there was a meta aspect to it. But yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. It was just okay. Like it was okay.
Nope. So next up, I have a lot of people are talking a lot about this movie, and so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. The actor's great. Everybody's correct. Max Records is great.
Shh, Jacob,
what's up?
I'm doing something here.
We're talking about I Am Not a Serial Killer. So
hey,
I watched a movie called I Am Not a Serial Killer. It stars this little kid. No, it's fine, dude. It's the part of the show. It stars this kid, Max Records, who's great. He's fantastic. He's got definitely a career ahead of him. Plays in this movie I'm Not a Serial Killer with Christopher Lloyd. That's crazy. Christopher Lloyd is not just a little bit part and to put a name on the box. He plays a huge part in the movie.
Awesome.
So it's nice to see Christopher Lloyd in a horror film, of all things. So plot is that Max Records that's his real name. I can't remember his,
Wasn't he in Where the Wild Things Are?
Never watched it.
What?
I have no interest. So he is kind of a troublemaker. His therapist kind of diagnoses him as a sociopath. He's very young. He's like 16. He works at a morgue with his mother. And he's kind of fascinated with death. And he gets picked on a lot. And people kind of think he might become a serial killer. And there's a serial killer loose in his town. And so he's like, I wonder if I can kind of track this son of a bitch. So he does his best, gets his little detective work on, and tracks down the serial killer and finds out who it is. And then the story starts going. And it's a pretty wild ride. Hopefully they don't ruin it in the trailer, because I could definitely see this being ruined in the trailer. So it's a fun little concept. It's a fun little movie. I dug it. The lead is very compelling. Max does a great job. He's very charismatic. He's very charming. The script is really good. That's another thing about the film. The script's really, really good. Christopher Lloyd's great. Max, everybody else is just kind of, whatever. But there's a really, I don't want to ruin it, but there's such a good monologue in the movie. The screenwriter is just so perfect. It gave me goosebumps when he's saying it, but it's at the dance party, and it's the bully he talks to, what he says to the bully about the cardboard box. Fucking brilliant. such a good fucking monologue. So watch it just for that, because when he says that, I was like, holy shit, that's so fucking cool. Really great screenwriter. For something like even, a horror film, which I'm a huge fan of horror, but we don't have the best screenplay sometimes. And then I got around to watching, what is this called? Motherfucking Twisted Sister, something like that. Twisted motherfucking Sister. It's the Twisted Sister documentary. Oh. So I watched the Twisted Sister documentary, which I was very happy to do. I enjoy Twisted Sister. I like Dee Snider. I like kind of that whole shebang of story. This documentary is 2 hours and 15 minutes. We learned so much about the first 4 years. This is what irritates me, is we learn pretty much the first 4 or 5 years of Twisted Sister in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And then this documentary decides to cut short after that and just give text of the last 20 years of Twisted Sister that you have to read. And it's oh, this is another movie. Are you telling me that you couldn't condense the whole story of Twisted Sister in a fucking 2 hour doc? It was so irritating because it's a good documentary, but tell the whole fucking thing with the Supreme Court of the parental advisory lyrics and Dee Snider going, that's a fucking documentary in itself, but they don't even talk about that. They don't even hint at that.
Wow.
They just talk about the first few years, which is great. It's funny. It's a lot of fun. But they dwell so much on little things and have so much behind the scenes watching them on stage, music acts. Fucking cut that shit out. We've heard the songs. We don't need to watch that again. Just fucking tell the story of Twisted Sister. And they just can't do it. It's so aggravating. I mean, it's a decent documentary, but by the time it's over, I was just pissed off because I was like, wait a second. This is it? But anyways, if you're a huge fan of Twisted Sister, it is kind of fun. It's just, like I said, it's just irritating that a documentary can't provide all the information in 2 hours and 15 minutes when I've watched documentaries that are under an hour and a half and can achieve much more than a story of a band.
Dude, the documentary of Lemmy is fantastic.
The documentary of Anvil is great.
Oh, man.
It gives everything, but why couldn't you do that with Twisted Sister? And then next up I watched the remake. I had no idea there was a remake. The Warner Archive released the remake, the TV remake for The Bad Seed. It's pretty much a play-by-play of the original, just not as eerie. Man, I tell you what, dude, there is some really weird shit with David Carradine, because he plays the groundskeeper, and the little girl that's the bad seed is 12. There's some really funky shit that happens in the movie that's just kind of gives me chills, because he's super creepy and says really weird things to her, and I'm like, oh man, this is fucking made for TV. He's talking about seeing her underwear and shit, and I'm like, bro, this is why the fucking bride killed your ass with a 5-finger palm punch.
Yeah. The girl is actually 9 in the story.
Oh, dude, that's even worse. But he says just really awful things. It's just really creepy. I'm not into that type of shit, man. I mean, it's a fun little movie. I mean, it's the exact same thing as, the old one. It's just
the 1956 film.
Yeah, it's just better. The old one, not the new one. I got around to watching another remake here of Vampires with Carolyn Monroe, which I was happy to see Carolyn Monroe back on the screen because she was she's one of those notable faces and horror movie actresses that got to a point and then just fell off the map. She would have been up there with everybody else. It's she did a lot of horror films, she's in one of my favorite horror films of all time. And it's just I was expecting a lot more from her, I guess, like growing up thinking, oh man, what else has she done? And then I just got to a stopping point and I'm like, what the fuck? But she's in this remake of a movie from the 70s, this erotic vampire movie called Vampires. It's pretty much the same movie. Again, we have the same instance where it's pretty much the same as the original, but it just doesn't have that erotic tone to it. It just is very trashy. And there's a difference between trashy and erotic cinema. And it just is really bland and just not erotic at all. And
when did this one come out?
Recently, Artsploitation released it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, the original's fantastic. The 70s one is fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you sure Carolyn Monroe's in it?
Carolyn Monroe is in the remake. I'm 100% positive because, yeah, 100%. It's just not good. I mean, it's...
Oh, okay.
It just falls really short. It's just not erotic at all. It just feels like, I don't know. It's one of the more forgettable movies I've seen this year.
Let's just keep talking about Carolyn Monroe.
That's a lot better.
Dear God, man, she's a stone cold fox.
Yeah, she's a pretty one. And then, last but not least, I got around to watching. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Pleasant, because it's in the title. And plus, NyQuil is still here. So I got around to watching Wild Eye Releasing's A Plague So Pleasant, which is a really bad title, by the way. But
A Plague So Pleasant.
It's actually a decent movie. Because when I saw the title, I was like, man, this does not sound compelling at all. Like, what the fuck is this? But I trust Wild Eye because they do show a different side of cinema always. So I popped it in. It's a very unique movie for sure. It's definitely not for everybody. But it is a partially black and white, partially color. There's a reason why it's black and white and half color. It's about a zombie apocalypse that broke out. People died, people got turned. And now the zombies are living among the humans. And it is against the law to shoot and kill a zombie. You'll be fined for it, you'll go to jail.
Does anyone say zombies' lives matter?
No.
Fail.
So zombies don't try to eat you. They just wander around and just stand there, and it's really easy to get around them. But it sucks driving a car because you can't hit them or run them over. So
Okay.
this guy is like, has this, kind of story behind him with his sister and her dead boyfriend who's now a zombie. And it's just so much emotion that he plugs one of these zombies and the outbreak happens as soon as he does it. And another outbreak happens.
Damn.
It's actually pretty well done and kind of intense with it's literally like a survival horror film for like the last 45 minutes. But I enjoyed it immensely. It's got this weird vibe to it though. Like there's this kind of John Waters aspect to it, like this very bizarre like dialogue. Like, I don't know. It's just when you watch it, you're like, you're really into this like Adam Rifkin, John Waters cinema. Like how this is presented, and then it becomes a zombie movie, and then it jumps back to that, and then becomes a zombie movie again, then jumps back, and then finishes out being a zombie movie. And it's got this really fucking bizarre song in it, and I've been listening to it like every fucking day since I've seen the movie. But it's by this artist named Green Jerry, and the song's called "Oh Freedom." And the song plays in the movie, and like, I love the song, but it's a very odd song because he sings off, like, out of tune, like off kilter. But it's very, like, when you hear it, you're like, oh shit, like, he's definitely not hitting the notes. But Like, it draws you in. You're like, oh shit, this is actually really good. But anyways, it's very well done. I suggest pick it up. Support, that really, really micro budget indie horror. Like, I mean, this movie is probably filmed for like $10. But it is awesome that somebody with that small budget can keep your interest for that long.
The idea is cool, man. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as extravagant and grand as I made it sound. It's very, like I said, it's micro budget.
Yeah.
So when the zombie outbreak happens, there's like 10 zombies.
So I'll probably hate it.
Probably. It's no gods of Egypt. But,
I mean, but really,
like
Brad, what is?
Right. But I like it. So
cool, man.
Anyways, that's it.
All right, very cool. Let's jump into the news with Josh Obershaw. He is flying solo once more, and when we come back, we will talk about Murderlust and Project Nightmare.
Dun 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 dun.
So stick around.
What's up, everybody? This is Josh Obershaw once again with another exciting roundup of the latest horror happenings. And this is definitely a doozy of a week for sure. Let's start off with some horror on television because I admit I've been pretty neglectful when it comes to horror on TV. So I got a few news items for you on that front. First up is the return of Twin Peaks. And that return is going to be May 21st on Showtime. And it's going to start off with a 2-hour premiere, and the entire limited series was directed by David Lynch himself. So wow, I kind of wish I had Showtime right now. Next up, American Horror Story has been renewed for 2 more seasons. Next is The X-Files. Fox really wants to follow up the limited X-Files series that we got last year. They're trying to work around David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's schedules, so we'll probably see that hopefully in 2018. Finally, on the TV front, for those of you who love the TV show Constantine, which was unjustly canceled after only 13 episodes, Constantine is coming back, this time as an animated series on the CW. Actually, it's going to be on the CW's online version, which is called CW Seed. It's going to be about 5 to 6 episodes running about 10 minutes and features the return of Matt Ryan as the voice of Constantine. I really liked the show Constantine. I thought Matt Ryan was the perfect John Constantine. And hell, even Neil Marshall directed a couple episodes. It was a really good show, and I was bummed that it got canceled. The show is available on Blu-ray from Warner Archives if you want to check out the show before the animated series comes to television. That's going to be in 2018 as well. All right, let's get back to the Blu-ray news, and we're going to start off with Arrow Video. This past Friday the 13th, Arrow announced their April slate of releases. Let's start off with the US-only releases. The first one is Django, Prepare a Coffin. And the bonus features for this include a new high-definition digital transfer of the film in the original 1.66 to 1 aspect ratio, optional English and Italian audio tracks, newly translated English subtitles for the Italian audio, and English SDH for the deaf and hard of hearing on the English audio. Django explained, a new interview with spaghetti western expert and author Kevin Grant, an original trailer, and for the first pressing, you get an illustrated collector's booklet by critic and spaghetti western expert Howard Hughes. That one is coming out on April 11th. Now, do you remember that Donnie Darko box set that was a UK-only release? Well, it's coming to the United States, much like the Hellraiser Scarlet box. It's pretty much the exact same release, and that one is coming out on April 18th. Now let's move on to UK and US releases. First up is Kaltiki, the Immortal Monster. The bonus features for this include a brand new 2K restoration of the film from the original camera negative, original mono Italian and English soundtracks, newly translated English subtitles for the Italian soundtrack, optional English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, audio commentary by Tim Lucas, author of Mario Bava, All the Colors of the Dark. A new audio commentary by Troy Howarth, author of The Haunted World of Mario Bava. From Quartermass to Kaltiki, a new discussion with author and critic Kim Newman on the influence of classic monster movies on Kaltiki. Ricardo Freda, Forgotten Master. This is an archival interview with critic Stefano Della Casa. The Genesis of Kaltiki, an archival interview with filmmaker Luigi Cozzi. Archival introduction to the film by Stefano Della Casa. Alternate opening titles for the U.S. version, a reversible sleeve, and an illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing by Kat Ellinger and Roberto Curti. This one is coming out in the UK on April 24th and in the US on April 25th. Next up is the Japanese film Wolf Guy. Bonus features for this include a high-definition digital transfer, original uncompressed mono audio, new optional English subtitle translations, a new video interview with actor Shinichi Sonichiba, new interview with director Kazuhiko Yamaguchi. I probably butchered that, so apologies. A new video interview with producer Tatsu Yoshida, reversible sleeve, and an illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by Patrick Macias and a history of Japanese monster movie mashups by Jasper Sharp. This one is also coming out in the UK on April 24th, followed by a US release date of April 25th. Now let's move on to the UK only releases. First up, Catfight, starring Anne Heche, Sandra Oh, and Alicia Silverstone. This one has a commentary with writer, editor, and director Onur Tukel, commentary with actors Sandra Oh and Anne Heche, fight choreography featurette, deleted scenes, a trailer, optional subtitles, reversible sleeve, and for the first pressing only, you get an O-card and booklet featuring new writing on the film. That one is coming out in the UK on April 24th. Also, for UK only, we have The City of the Dead starring Christopher Lee. And the bonus features for this include a new 4K digital restoration by the Cohen Film Collection and the BFI. High-definition Blu-ray and standard-definition DVD presentations of two versions of the film, The City of the Dead and the alternative U.S. cut Horror Hotel. You also get uncompressed mono, optional English subtitles, an audio commentary by film critic Jonathan Rigby, a trailer, reversible sleeve, and an illustrated collector's booklet. And this one is set for a UK release on April 24th. And finally, for the UK only, this is the one everybody's wanting to hear, Phantasm. All 5 Phantasm movies together on Blu-ray for the first time. And it also includes a limited edition bonus disc featuring exclusive features. You've got English subtitles, an exclusive 152-page book with new writings on the Phantasm universe from Kim Newman and Bill Ackerman, alongside a wealth of archive material, all fully illustrated with original stills and posters. Plus, you also get a replica Phantasm sphere and limited edition packaging with newly commissioned artwork from Gary Pullen. There's a lot of bonus features for this one. For example, on Phantasm, you get the Phantasm Remastered 2016 theatrical version, original theatrical mono, and remastered 5.1 surround options. Phantasm Remastered 2016 Los Angeles premiere audience track. Join the audience of die-hard fans as they experience the restored classic for the first time. You got an archive audio commentary with writer-director Don Coscarelli and actors Michael Baldwin, Bill Thornbury, and Angus Scrimm. Reflections of Fear, Realizing Phantasm, a brand new featurette looking back at the making of Phantasm, including new interviews with the cast and crew. You also get a behind-the-scenes footage with commentary by Don Coscarelli and Reggie Bannister, a 1979 TV interview with Coscarelli and Scrimm, 6 deleted scenes, an original trailer, TV spots, radio spots, and still gallery. For Phantasm 2, the highlights for that include Reflections of Fear, Realizing Phantasm 2, which is a brand new featurette. You've got the Angus Scrimm 1989 convention appearance, a Fangoria TV spot, trailer, other TV spots, and still gallery. For number 3, you've got an audio commentary with actors Michael Baldwin and Angus Scrimm, Reflections of Fear, Realizing Phantasm 3, plus a trailer and a stills gallery. For Phantasm 4, we've got an audio commentary with Coscarelli, Scrimm, and Reggie Bannister, Reflections of Fear, Realizing Phantasm 4, all new featurette. For Phantasm Ravager, we got 2.0 stereo and 5.1 surround options. Phantasm Ravager 2016 Los Angeles premiere audience track. Join the audience of die-hard fans as they experience Ravager for the first time. And also Reflections of Fear, Realizing Phantasm Ravager. You also get deleted scenes with an optional audio commentary by David Hartman, who directed the film, and Don Coscarelli. Phantasm, bloopers and outtakes. Phantasm and You, a lighthearted recap of the Phantasm franchise directed by David Hartman. And the bonus disc is going to include Phantasmagoria, which is the feature-length documentary covering the original Phantasm through to Phantasm 4 Oblivion, including interviews with key cast and crew members. And you also get Phantasmagorical Tour. Actor Reggie Bannister hosts a tour of some of the key filming locations from Phantasm. Damn. This one is set for the UK on April 24th. Now, the same day that Arrow announced that UK-only Phantasm box set, our eagle-eyed listener Luis pointed out to us that a March 28th release date was set for that long-awaited Phantasm box set from Well Go USA. As it turns out, that is definitely the case. March 28th, we're getting Well Go USA's Blu-ray box set of all 5 Phantasms. It's also a 6-disc set, and the bonus features are slightly different. I don't think we're getting the replica of the Sphere or the 152-page booklet. But we will be getting a whole bunch of bonus features. They're pretty much identical, somewhat. I mean, like, for example, on the first Phantasm disc, we've got featurettes such as Graveyard Cars, which I believe is about all the cars you see in the movie, like Reggie's ice cream truck, the hearse, and of course that badass Cuda. And we also have, on Phantasm 2, we've got The Gory Days, which is an interview with special makeup effects artist Greg Nicotero. So there's slightly differences, but hell, we're getting all 5 Phantasm movies in one place on Blu-ray. How could you go wrong with that? Plus, I also like to point out that the front cover art for the Well Go USA box set has Angus Scrimm as the tall man sitting in his throne with his balls. That came out wrong. But anyways, I mean, I love the front cover art. It's a fitting tribute to the man. And I think that's really, really appropriate for something like this, for something special like this. So March 28th, Well Go USA will be releasing the Phantasm box set here in the United States. Now, on that same day, on March 28th, Vestron Video is going to be releasing a Blu-ray set of all 4 films in the Wishmaster series. We don't have any more information than that. It's said to be packed with amazing special features, but we don't have those yet. So once we do have them, I'll let you know what those are. And hopefully it'll justify the huge price tag, which I'm pretty sure this one is going to have. All right, next up are going to be a few quick announcements because there's not a whole lot of information to these as of yet, but UK Screenbound Pictures are going to be putting out Return of Swamp Thing on Blu-ray on May 15th. Meanwhile, Screen Factory have a couple of collector's editions coming in the summer. First one is going to be Slither and The Lawnmower Man. And coming from Mill Creek Entertainment, we've got 1989's Blind Fury starring Rutger Hauer and Chuck Norris in Silent Rage. And last but not least, from Synapse Films, we are getting a limited collector's edition steelbook of Popcorn. That's right, Popcorn is finally coming to Blu-ray this year, and the release date is March 7th. Now, for this steelbook edition, you're going to get an all-new 2K scan of an archival 35mm interpositive, an all-new Blu-ray 7.1 surround sound mix supervised by Synapse. The original 2.0 stereo mix is included. Plus, you also get an all-new 5.1 surround mix for the DVD. The audio commentary has director Mark Harrier, stars Jill Shalin, Malcolm Denaire, and special makeup effects artist Matt Falls. You also get Midnight Madness, The Making of Popcorn, featuring interviews with Harrier, Shalin, Derek Rydell, Dee Wallace, Malcolm Denaire, Yvette Solar, and Elliot Hurst. Plus, also special makeup effects artist Matt Falls, composer Paul Zaza, and distributor executive Jonathan Wolfe. That featurette is about 55 minutes. Electric Memories, an interview with actor Bruce Glover. Original theatrical trailer, television trailer, and TV spots. You also get a still gallery, liner notes, and cover copy from Michael Gingold, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, cover art by Justin Osborne / Slasher Design, and it's also going to be region free. Now, this set will run you about $45.95. Now, if that's a little too steep for you, don't worry, because I'm pretty sure with some of Synapse's other Steelbook Blu-rays like Demons, Demons 2, and Tenebrae, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a standard version of this somewhere down the line, so don't fret too much. But at any rate, we're getting Popcorn on Blu-ray. I have not seen this movie since it premiered on cable, I believe, in 1992. I didn't know what to make of it then, so I'm really happy that this movie is readily available again so that I can see what I think of it now, 25 years later. So that's all the news that I have for this week, folks. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dr. Splatter, and I'll be back with you next time for some more horror happenings. Take care, everybody.
Murder, brutal, violent, vicious, with no apparent motive. These are words we dread to read or hear in the media. These words describe the handiwork of the most insidious and evil of criminals, the so-called serial killer. This type of killer is hard to catch. Some are never caught. Why? How can they murder with such impunity? Where do they hide? The answer, in plain sight. This is Steve Belmont, trusted and upstanding member of his community, respected by his family and friends. He has just one hobby. Honored and loved, decent, kind. With what pastime? Outstanding member of his church, the man any mother would want for her daughter. Loving, caring, the ideal boyfriend, husband, lover. Deeply passionate, tender, gentle.
Why don't I ring for the butler? He can bring us some drinks and we can toast Steve Belmont. A man more concerned with self-sacrifice than self-gain. A Christian in the truest sense of the word.
Well, Intervision has been around for a couple years now, releasing mainly direct-to-video stuff, or it was actually shot-on-video stuff, mostly on DVD, and they are an offshoot from Severin, and they've, I think the last thing that I saw from them was the movie Phobe, which is fantastic, by the way. If you haven't seen Phobe, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Really, really, really micro-budget sci-fi film.
Yeah.
Before that, they released some zombie flicks. Oh, shoot, who's that?
They released that Dracula movie too, right?
Oh yeah. Shit, I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Slacking. Oh god, who's that director?
What are you talking about?
The zombie flicks they released.
Fuck.
I have like a brain fart on his name.
Yeah, Bruno Mattei.
Yes, the Mattei. The zombie flicks, and they released another one that I forced Josh Obershaw to watch and write.
Yeah, those movies aren't great.
So they've been around doing, some interesting stuff with bringing these movies out so people can see them. They're hit or miss, I think, for a lot of people. The Count Dracula one was it's like a documentary, right?
Actually, I haven't watched that one. That's the one I haven't watched, so we suck.
Sorry, Intervision. We're be plugging this to you guys, and we haven't watched the Dracula one. Anyway, their newest release is Donald Jones' flick called Murderlust, and I'd never seen it, but of course the cover looks awesome, and then of course they released it with his debut flick, Project Nightmare. So Murderlust is,
let's talk about Project Nightmare first. But I honestly don't think this is debut. I'm still going against it. Where are you getting this information?
The box, dude. The box.
Where does it say this?
On the back of the box.
Bonus second feature,
Yeah.
Joe's trippy directorial debut, Project Nightmare. No.
Yeah.
It says 1979. He had movies before 1979, my friend. He had that girl movie before this, so this is wrong.
All right.
Look at IMDb.
Okay. Well, he directed it as Don Jones, so. Yeah, there could be a typo because it says Project Nightmare was released in 1987, although it does feel very 70s. So I don't know, man.
It might have been released in 87.
And he did The Love
made
Butcher?
in 79. Yeah, The Love Butcher. That's on fucking Code Red, man.
Schoolgirls
That
in
movie-
Chains.
Yeah, that's the movie I was
1973.
thinking about.
I
No, there's
wonder,
something
though,
else, too.
maybe Project Nightmare just was never released until 1987. You know what I mean? Maybe it just sat around and did
Maybe.
nothing.
I think
Or it
it's
could
a
be,
typo.
or it could be typo. It could be.
Intervision, get back with us. Let us know.
Because what you have goes against IMDb, the IMDb.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just that this movie's made 1979. He had movies before this.
Okay.
Like, it could have been released in 87. That's fine. Like, yeah, been made in 79. So 79 is the date we should go on. But he had movies before that, though.
Yeah.
I know the director. I've followed him for a while. I just have never seen Project Nightmare. I've seen every single one of his movies aside from Project Nightmare. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that first.
So Project Nightmare, these two men find themselves in this deserted area, and they're.
Hey, Noah.
Hi, Noah. She's taking a nap. Why is everyone still awake? This is what happens when we start before everyone goes to bed. What?
Bert is going night-night.
Yeah. So that means
Noah, did you watch Project Nightmare?
Not by myself.
You didn't watch it by yourself?
Me and Jacob.
Did you watch it with Sean?
Robert's not leaving.
Oh.
Their mom and dad are here.
Okay.
Robert's not
Well,
leaving.
when he leaves, it's time for bed. Okay. With everyone
Robert.
else. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's devastated. Did he say Robert?
Yeah. The kids have a friend over.
Is it
Hold on, let me
Robert the
shut the
doll? Because that shit could be really fucked up. You ever hear the story of Robert the doll? This shit's motherfucking whack.
Story of my life. Story of my life here, everybody. I'm keeping this all in. Fuck it.
So
yeah, these two guys find themselves in this area. It's this, they don't know how they got there.
God,
They're
Sean,
wandering around. It's boring as shit. Very 70s.
You are fucking okay.
This lady, they
Stop.
find this lady in a cabin. She goes, "Hey, what would you guys like to drink?" And he's like, "I'll have some whiskey." Because
He says Scotch,
Scotch.
motherfucker.
So because of course when you're wandering around in a desert and then into a forest, the first thing you really want when you're parched is some Scotch.
Hey,
that shows me that this was made in the 70s.
Can you relax? All right, number one, let me take over because obviously you did not like Project Nightmare. So Sean is correct about two males that are. The movie begins with them wandering around in kind of this deserted area, desert forest. You come to find out they were camping. And when they woke up, their tents and everything that they had was destroyed, and something is hunting them. And it's very eerie because they have it's kind of an unknown force that's hunting them. They stop by a lady's house and have a scotch and a PBR.
Yeah.
And she gives them some food and a drink to take with them on their journey to try to find a nearby town. She does not have a phone in her house, and that's the reason why they can't call for help. So they go look for a town. They come across a man who has not stolen a car, but found a car and is kind of dying on the side of the road. They change a tire. Mm-hmm. They travel with this man, and they have this force that is hunting them down. And I find the movie pretty interesting because this movie was, I feel, before its time. Because you may say it feels like the 70s, and it does, but a story like this reminds me, like the music, how it was shot, kind of the plot, reminds me of these like micro indie budget movies that we have now that come out, like something like Resolution, and, you know, they look like people, that type of shit. That's what this movie feels like, with like a mix of like, you know, some high-tech horror too. Because when it boils down, they realize that there is something that is making them take their worst fears and creating a physical appearance. And that is what is driving them mad and insane. And they can't tell the difference between, you know, that world and basically reality. So to me, I liked it because it was super fucking weird. I think the movie is very well done. I think once they actually get to the place in the desert and they find out what's actually happening, that's when the movie starts to drag. And then fucking that Zordon thing pops up. And it's like, oh my God, this movie's fucking, let's get some acid right now, because that's how I'm going to understand this movie. But I tell you what, it's, I think it's really well done. It's unlike anything that you'll probably see. It is right up there with the high-tech horror and weird horror like Halloween 3, even that Cabin in the Woods type of thing. Like I dig it. I think if you did like a triple feature of this, Cabin in the Woods, and Halloween 3, it would work really, really well.
By the way, I believe he shot this in the 70s. And it technically was his debut, but it just never got released until '87 on VHS. Is what I'm finding out here. And I'm sure if we would listen to the frickin' commentary by the writer and producer James C. Lane, I guess it's partial audio commentary, we would probably know this.
Hey, but, I'll give it a shot.
I think it was shot early on and just never released.
I really like this movie. If you want to watch it, please do me a favor. Watch Halloween 3, watch Project Nightmare, and then watch Cabin in the Woods. Mm-hmm. And I think that you'll get that trippy, weird vibe. And that's what it is. It's a trippy movie.
Well, you know? what I like about what I do appreciate about it is like, because these movies, both of these movies could have been like these kind of like, so like, I hate the term so bad they're good, but you know, bad yet entertaining flicks.
You like a movie or not?
Like an incompetently made movie, but it's entertaining. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like these are just, you know, hampered by their budget. Like Don Jones, like, knows what he's doing. He knows how to put together a film, and you can tell he does. Like, then there's certain shots you're like, wow, like if he had a budget, like this would actually be, you know, really, really, you know, would be better. But like the story's there, and like the actors are doing, like, I mean, there's nothing in here that's like incompetent. It's just low budget, you know. And this is a low budget 70s flick, you know, and just that gets a little bit weird, you know. So
it gets very weird.
So it's like, you know, I can appreciate it. While that's not my thing, like I can appreciate that. You know, this is kind of his. No, I didn't hate it. Like it's just not. It's not my thing.
You talk shit in the beginning,
but I could appreciate it. You know, for the work that was put in. Like they weren't half-assing it. You know what I mean?
Hey, I love Project Nightmare, and cool. I love Murderlust even more.
Let's talk about Murderlust.
So, fun little fact, I didn't make this happen, but I was asked. There was 2 covers for Murderlust DVD, and I was asked which one was better, and this is the one I picked, so I feel partially responsible.
Good job. It is. I'm looking at an old VHS cover.
It's way better than the VHS cover.
Yeah.
So, Murderlust it's weird that this movie is not classified as kind of a comedy. It's not a comedy whatsoever, but the things that are said and the lead actor is just so fucking great. I'm laughing throughout the movie, even though it's a really mean and misogynistic movie.
Well,
it has some moments where, like, the fucking I haven't seen it in a little bit, but the scene where the not the realtor, I guess the realtor comes by and asks for rent.
It's the landlord.
Yeah, and he says the check's in the mail, and he's like, "Oh, the most 3 common things you hear is that I still love you, I won't come in your mouth, and the check's in the mail." And it's like, wait, what? Yeah. These are the most 3 common things you hear?
Well, maybe it's what that guy hears.
But yeah, it's just like there's little subtle things in the film that are said and done that are comical.
Well, what's great about
go ahead.
No, well, what's great about the setup is, I mean, it's this guy he's like he's a Sunday school teacher. Like he's this. Well, that's Christian the thing. Sunday school
also
teacher.
Does like this makes like, yeah, they have that side of Christianity where you see this guy, he like picks up this hooker and then strangles her. And it's like, oh, this is our movie we get. We get this, like, heavy synth score. He is in a van. Yeah. It's like, oh, my God. And then the next sequence, like, he's in a school as a Sunday school teacher. And then, like, he takes the one little girl out there and he calls her a whore.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Well, deep down he wants to friggin' murder her, but she's, he can't because she's in the Sunday school. But the other little touches, so that's one touch that's like super interesting with this movie. The next one is like he kind of has like, I believe it's hinted that he has like erectile dysfunction in it. Like
why?
Because he's in the car with the prostitute or somebody, and he can't freaking get it up until he freaking, like he.
No, I just think that's what gets him. I haven't seen this movie in a little while, but
yeah, I mean, it's hinted at like this guy has some issues, and it's like the only. It's hinted at like the only way he'd really get off is by murdering these women and taking them out to the desert.
He takes him out the desert and like drinking beer. He like pisses on the bodies, and it's like, oh my God, dude, like fucking relax. Like at times, like the movie is like, oh, this is just an ordinary slasher, and then it just gets like way over the top because that sequence, like he does pick up that 16-year-old girl, or she's under 18 because she lies about her age. Mm-hmm. And then he, like, takes her back and, like, has her on her knees. And it's like, dude, I was like, please stop. Just kill her, please. Like, this dialogue and what you're saying to her is just really, like, this is the bad seed all over again. Like, please stop. And, like I said, like, at times the movie does push some fucking limits. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing about the movie that, like, and it is really sleazy and trashy, which works. It's not a clean, slasher by any means. It does have that sleazy and trashy side, so therefore they can get away, and it's not as shocking when you see and hear it, but he does it twice, and that's the part where it's like, even though the one's kind of off screen, it's like, oh my God, dude, like, this, I mean, they're modeling this dude after, like, Ted Bundy is what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's like a Ted Bundy movie. Because he fucking strangles him, throws him in the fucking, desert, and he's, like, targeting, like, little kids, too. So basically it's this, like Sean said, it's this clean-cut Sunday school teacher that works some odds and ends jobs who basically can't make ends meet. He's trying to hold out for this, what is the job that he's looking for? It's like some kind of, like prevention, like it's an assistance job. Like kids that are having troubled teens go to him, and he's like a counselor.
Right.
That's the job that he's waiting for, if I remember correctly. And so, like, he gets the job, but then, like, the job's taken away from him because of this killer that's on the loose, and it's actually him that sets him over the edge. But it's a really like, it's a fun movie, but it also is very misogynistic and does push the limits. But the movie, like, you get that vibe right away. So I think you can. Well, like, it's not
super graphic at all.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even no blood in the movie.
No, but it just has that layer of sleaze over it.
It's more or less the dialogue.
Yeah,
is what is over the top, because I mean, I remember talking about The Wife Killer episodes and episodes ago, and that movie was just too much for me. Like, I was like, oh man, this movie just, like, it's trying to be like way too trashy. It's getting too amped up, like the constant, just like endless scenes of like hitting the victims and stuff like that. It's like, oh my god, like, here we go again. This movie, like, it sets its tone very quickly, so when you see it, it's not as surprising. When he kind of goes over the top, and it fits. So I don't find it disgusting or over the top. It's just, it is kind of shocking at times, because you're like, oh my god, like, he's fucking targeting like a 16-year-old little girl. Like, this is crazy. But it works for the movie. So if you're into sleazy, trashy cinema, and a weird strangle slasher,
there's enough weirdness in it, though, like, with all these little touches that, for me, like, kind of made me respect it a little more than it just being a straight slasher. Like, there's so many these little touches, and that's right. That's what I talk about, like Donald Jones. Like, normally this isn't my type of thing. Like, both these movies aren't, it's something I would seek out and watch. But there's enough, like, little touches that he puts in there, or he allowed, like,
it's got a cool little synth score,
but I mean,
yeah,
the synth score is cool. Like, the characters, or the
lead is awesome.
He's great. It's Eli Rich.
Eli Rich. I've never recognized. I don't know.
I haven't seen him in anything else. But yeah, I mean, apparently this was censored. Like 2 minutes and 30 something minutes were cut out on the VHS release. The British, I guess, VHS.
No, exactly what would be cut out of the movie.
Would it be when
it's the little blonde girl when he has her in the room?
Yeah.
Because when that's happening, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
I need to hit fast forward or something, because this is a little. That's the one thing, man, is I can watch anything, but when it comes to kids,
yeah.
Like, that's what can really make me. Yeah, it shows everything.
So, these are movies, like, these are the types of movies that I want to listen to the commentary on. I didn't have a chance to do so, but this one does have the commentary with James C. Lane, who's the writer and producer. So this is a full commentary, where, unlike Project Nightmare, that was a partial commentary with James Lane, but to this one, it's a full commentary. So I'm interested in checking that out, because I kind of want to know.
Yeah, I think people need to see it, because I think that any horror fan would find things to it, because it's very enjoyable. That's the thing. Like, your lead actor's great. There's enough going on. It's a very basic movie, but there's enough going on, and it has a lot going for it, that it doesn't lose its steam. It's great until the very end. Like, it's just a really, really fun movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, these are a good, like, what, hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. Like,
yeah, yeah. No, I think Murderlust is about an hour and a half, and it just, like, it just breezes through. In my opinion, because I enjoyed it all. Like, it doesn't drag.
He's such an interesting character. Like, you kind of enjoy spending time with this guy.
Dude, he's fucking Ted Bundy is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee making this movie, they were like, hey, this guy, Ted Bundy, just channel this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. He's very charming. He's very nice. When he speaks, it's a lot of fun. Like, when he's at his guard duty job, and then the woman's like, he threatened me. He said he'd push me up against the car. And he's like, sir, I never said that. And then when they leave the room, he's like, I'm going to kill you, you whore. It's like, oh my God. Like, dude, like, relax. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's worth checking out for sure. Yeah. I can get behind that.
He's a great manipulator. Like, he's, because he'll do that. Like, even like that when he pulls the girl out of his classroom, he's like, "Did you draw this? You're gonna grow up to be like a coke whore. That's what you're gonna grow up to be. Let's go to the principal's office."
Cut to the bone a little bit. Like he knows how to like get.
Yeah, when he like loses it about his job, he's like, "Leave it up to a fucking woman to ruin my fucking job." Hey, sweetie, I'm sorry.
So the writer, he wrote a screenplay called Housewife from Hell as well, and it's a fantastic title. The cover doesn't look that great, but fantastic title.
Don Jones has made some great movies.
But Don Jones, man, let's talk a little bit about him. Because,
The Love Butcher, The Forest, Lethal Pursuit.
Like, The Love Butcher, like you said, that was a Code Red release.
So is The Forest.
And The Forest. And
what else has he done?
Let me see. Let's take a stroll down IMDb lane.
I know Lethal Pursuit.
Schoolgirls in Chains, Sweater Girls, Deadly Sunday.
I've seen
Lethal Pursuit.
Whoa! I need you to relax. Number one. I remember Sweater Girls. I think that's Code Red too. That's about the girls that keep their virginity or whatever. What's Deadly Sunday? I don't know what that is.
I'm interrupted by Noah again. My kids are still awake.
Sad?
I don't know what's going on. Well, we have an issue. I had muted the microphone, but he has a Spider-Man pajama shirt, but the Spider-Man matching pants are dirty. So the pajamas he wants to wear do not match. And we have an issue.
Ooh, that sounds...
He's not liking it at all. I'm like, well, just get another pair of pajamas. And he's like, no, he wants
It's not
the
that
Spider-Man
easy, Sean. It's not that easy.
He's decided on the Spider-Man top. Deadly Sunday, 1982.
Deadly Sunday.
James Lane wrote that as well. Family on Vacation stops at a roadside restaurant where a gang of criminals are holding the employees hostage.
Yeah, I remember that. I haven't seen that movie in forever. I can't remember. I just remember it's the, they stop and they're holding them. I can't remember really anything about other than the plot.
Lethal Pursuit. Did you mention that?
Yeah, Lethal Pursuit. That's the movie that I remember. I think I still have that on VHS. That's the.
This looks right up my alley.
It's like all those movies take place in the desert. Fucking love it. That's the movie that takes place. Another one that takes place in the desert with the singer and
a rock star babe and her hunky honey find themselves targeted by her psychotic ex, whose insane jealousy sparks a deadly game of desert cat and mouse. How's that?
Wow. But yeah, another movie in the desert. All these movies take place in the desert. That's funny. But yeah, I have Lethal Pursuit on VHS.
That looks fun.
Yeah, all the movies, like he's a lot of fun.
Molly and the Ghost.
Recent?
Oh, this looks like a Skinamax one right here.
Ooh, what is that one called? What is that called?
Noah's out of the way.
What is that?
Molly and the Ghost. It says horror, but the cover is very Skinamaxy.
Then I lied when I said in the beginning that I have seen all of his movies because I have not heard.
This is marked under horror. It's 1991.
91? He's making movies in 91?
Yeah, Housewife from Hell that I mentioned, that's 93.
What?
And then he did a straight-to-video in 2015 called Evil Acts.
What?
A gruesome, sacrificial-style murder leads to an investigation that uncovers a ruthless, horrific, satanic cult in Brad's living room. Suddenly, one of the lead investigators of the case, a young woman
Whoa.
named...
You know you're going to get comments
I was on those
right?
IMDb synopses that goes a little too long.
Oh, Molly and the Ghost. I have that on DVD. It's Mondo Macabro put that. Or no, that's on the Rare Flicks DVD. Yeah, Rare Flicks. Before Bill Olsen did this side project, and I think he worked for Rare Flicks, and he released 5 box sets of movies
Like
This cover looks less Skinemaxy, but the one that I saw was like, whoa.
Boogie Vision's in there, Disturbance, Molly and the Ghost. Yeah, I've seen Molly and the Ghost. I just didn't know that was Donald Jones.
Did you find matching pajamas?
No.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It's okay. Those look comfy, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Love
you, Noah. Good job. So I've seen Molly and the Ghost. I don't remember anything about it, but I have that on DVD. But Housewives from Hell, and I haven't seen that. I feel bad. I need to go back and watch his filmography because I do like the director.
Yeah, he looks. I mean, he's one of those directors I would like to check out more. It looks fun. Like that's the thing. Like, you can tell he has like a passion at least for what he's doing. There's a lot of these guys like. I always appreciate a director when I feel like they're excited about what they're doing and they're at least trying, and they like what they do and at least trying to do different things with these limited budgets they have. But cool, man.
Cool.
Donald M. Jones. Check out more of his stuff. People were buying up the Forest Blu-ray on Code Red, and I've been meaning to check it out, but I'm very wary to blind buy stuff.
That movie's fucking weird as fuck. So
I want to check it out before I buy it.
It's good though, man. All his movies are the same. It feels like. I say that now. Dude, The Love Butcher is really fucking good. That's probably my favorite out of everything, next to Murderlust.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a filmmaker to check out.
Very cool. So yeah, this DVD is out now.
Ooh, is it out now?
Well, it's out now. I'm trying to see how much it is. Got to make sure grindhousevideo.com sells this.
They should. Mike, dude.
$14.99, man. $14.99.
Heads up.
Movies.
So, fucking Mike has a store.
Yeah.
He moved out of his shoebox.
Yeah, he
moved
expanded.
into. I went there yesterday, and holy shit, I felt like I was at a mom and pop video store. Congratulations, Mike! Please, people, buy his shit. He's doing so well.
He's all grown up. He's grown up, and he's grown up, and he's grown up.
And I have something for our next. Let me get this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Dang.
All right, we done?
No. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for the musical interlude.
That's the fucking soundtrack to fucking Raiders of Atlantis.
I know. Let's jump
done by
in.
Oliver Onions. Which is the coolest fucking band name in the entire world. Oliver Onions.
All right. Well, let's jump in
fucking
to our
alliteration like a motherfucker.
I'm trying to get so we can discuss this a little more to our next segment here. We're bringing back Stream Screams and VHS. Oh my god! So for Stream Screams, we're talking Raiders of Atlantis.
Nate, wake up!
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
Don't fucking scream at me!
You scream, I'll break your neck.
Don't scream, miss. Don't scream.
Atlantis Interceptors! That sounds like a fucking gang in the Warriors.
Now, this is a long time coming. You have mentioned Raiders of Atlantis almost every single show for the past 3 years.
Top 10 of all time. Like, no joke. I am not kidding. Top 10 of all time.
The reason why we finally brought it on to Stream Screams is that Amazon Prime has been putting a whole shit ton
of
really fun exploitation flicks.
Yeah, so good.
There's some good shit on there. Someone just posted a list of some more movies to check out, and I'm pretty impressed. Like, so
Just
Amazon
look at
Prime,
my queue because it all up in it.
so they put up Raiders of Atlantis. It has been, like I mentioned, that gigantic box that I had full of DVDs from Mill Creek, the cult,
Mill Creek's
whatever
released it a few
box.
times.
It's whenever you get one of their cult cinema type box sets, usually it's in there. I can't speak for the print that they use or how it looks on there, but Amazon Prime has a pretty decent
it looks good.
Standard version of it. Yeah, for what it is, I said it again, for what it is.
For what it is. So basically...
Hey, Splatcast Mike, shut up.
For what it is. So...
Splathouse, that was a joke.
Splatcast. For someone that has scoured the internets and everything possible for the best copy of Raiders of Atlantis, there is a... I think it's a Turkish DVD that's out. Because I have a few DVDs of it. They're all bootlegs, but there's a Turkish DVD out with some Turkish subs, but the picture is fucking great. It's best it's possibly can look. Personally, I have actually done my work in order to try to bring this film to a certain company. But I've been searching for a couple years now.
Yeah, man, I remember you and I talked about when you and I were like, fuck it, let's start up a label and let's release Raiders of Atlantis.
And there's no print that is known to man or a negative of this movie. Sadly.
Ugh.
So anyways, this is one of my favorite films of all time. Deodato is the director of it. It stars Christopher Conley and Tony King. Christopher Conley being, just kind of everywhere in American films and Italian films. Tony King being a blaxploitation actor, being in Raiders of Atlantis is just super bizarre. I mean, this guy has worked with like fucking, Pam Grier and, Fred Williamson and shit. And if you would have told me that you are going to let me watch a movie with Christopher Conley and Tony King, I would have said, oh my God, that sounds great. And then it turns out to be Raiders of Atlantis, and then I just come all over it. Because that's exactly what happened. So my history with Raiders of Atlantis is that I was, a few years ago, let's say maybe about 5-6 years ago, I was compiling a trailer compilation for a movie thing I was doing. And I was just watching like these weird trailers, and then I come across the Raiders of Atlantis trailer. And I've never heard of the movie. So I watched the trailer, and my mind was just blown. I was like, oh my God, a movie like this exists. This is fucking Mad Max, Escape from New York, every apocalyptic, Italian movie possible, but looks a million times better. And then I'm like, fucking Tony King's in this movie? You gotta be kidding me. And then I saw Christopher Conley. I was like, oh my God, Manhattan Baby up in this bitch. So I immediately found this movie and I watched it, and I adored every second of it. Christopher Conley and Tony King have such fucking great on-screen chemistry. This becomes like a buddy apocalyptic movie. Christopher Conley plays legendary fucking Mike Ross. Tony King plays Washington, who likes to be called Mohammed. He always corrects him. But it's a standard apocalyptic flick, but the backstory to it is fucking weird.
Yeah.
These scientists are trying to get this sub. They end up raising this fucking lost city of Atlantis, and fucking everybody turns out to be fucking murderous fucking people on the road with crystal skulls and a sphinx that shoots lasers, and for some reason the world just ends automatically, and everybody's running for their life, and it's just a battle to the very
island,
end.
isn't it? It's just on an island.
Yeah, it's on an island, but it's still like, why? How does this fucking happen?
Why is this island just overrun with all these goons? Like, what is going on? Yeah, dude, this is balls to the wall, just action.
The action's
set piece
insane.
after
Like, it's
action
great.
set piece.
Yeah.
Stunts. Like, they went for it, man. They were like, let's
Dude,
rival the Mad
helicopter
Max.
on top of the fucking bus scene,
Yeah.
like everything in the movie. It's like, wait, did you pay stunt guys to do this? Was anybody on drugs?
I think they were just like, we need to top Mad Max. So they're like,
yeah,
fuck it. Like,
and I tell you what, like this movie has it all. It has, it has great leads. It has some fantastic action. It's really funny at times just because of how goofy it is. It's got some badass villains. It has everything. Everything is going for this movie. And like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Italian movies or like, oh, apocalyptic movies are all the same. No, this takes elements, the best part like of those movies, and just amplifies it. Like, there's no downtime in this movie. From the very beginning, when fucking Ross and Washington are fucking going after those people in the house and like doing this like black ops shit.
Yeah. And
then like the fucking, lost city of Atlantis rises, and then all of a sudden it becomes like this apocalyptic movie. It's so insane, and every part of the movie is just, it's so ramped up. And it's really hard to believe. Like, Deodato is a very well-known director, but it's just hard to believe that he did this. Like, of all people, like, he's very, like, kind of calm with his movies, kind of like Argento a lot. But, that'd be, like, the same as, like, Argento making this, like, mass action flick. Deodato did do Body Count, which is a slasher, but it's still very, like, down-to-earth, like, very calm. This is unlike anything he's ever done before, and it's just a fantastic movie. It's got this one song that plays a million times by Oliver Onions called Black Inferno, and it just like it starts off and like it's shot in fucking Miami, Florida, and once we introduce the characters, it's like that's the hook, man. As soon as you see Tony King and Christopher Conley, you're immediately like, these guys are a lot of fun. And then it becomes like a buddy movie. It becomes like not the buddy cop movie, but the buddy apocalyptic movie. Just such a great movie all around. Great little characters throughout, little things happen that are humorous and funny. Great action sequences. I mean, everything. This movie's got it all, man.
There's an arrow to the face in this. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, there's some great kills. I mean, the warehouse shootout is fucking fantastic. There's shootouts everywhere in the fucking movie. There's action constant.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like this, they're just like, let's. Who needs to really pause for exposition? Like it's like minimal exposition, and then a crazy action scene, or something's going on, or somebody's running from somebody, being chased by something. A little bit of exposition, like you meet some new characters, and and then it just keeps on going, man. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the fucking villain, Crystal Skull, is just so over the top. He's like, I think what happened is that when they were making Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation, they told Brian Thompson to watch this movie and act like Crystal Skull, but amplify it. And that's exactly what he does. Because that's what it is. Like, every time you see Crystal Skull, I think it's Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. But anyways, like,
he doesn't talk. He just gestures, right? He's just one of those baddies that kind of just gestures.
No, he talks.
Does he talk?
Yeah.
There's a lot of times when he's directing.
He doesn't say much. Say much.
What was I going to say?
When that skull break, or that crystal skull break, oh my god.
Dude, spoiler alert.
Not really a spoiler. He just made it a spoiler.
It has some really odd sound effects. Did you notice that? Like, I mean, you've
when the
so
fucking
times, like,
pyramid is shooting red lasers at him.
Well, it shoots red lasers, but then, like, even in the action scenes, like when, like, one of the, one of the post-apocalyptic guys would get shot or fall, or it'd be like they put a weird like echo on each of their voices. Does that mean they're supposed to be Atlanteans or something like that, or were they members of Atlantis?
Dude, they're Atlanteans.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude, the movie, like, that part doesn't make any sense. Like, a lot of things that are happening in the movie does not make sense, but it doesn't need to, because it has so much other things going for it. Like, it's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
I crack up when I watch it. I just have such a good time.
I mean, it's great because this is, it's finally, like, somewhere that's easy to find. You don't have to buy some box set to dig through and find it buried in the middle of the box set on, like, a double-sided DVD full of like 8 movies.
Mill Creek.
Mill Creek. But yeah, it's on Amazon Prime Video, and hopefully it's there forever. But this has been permanently saved in my wish list, or not my watch list for sure. And I need to find that list of other flicks that are popping up on Amazon Prime. You'll find some really good stuff that aren't streaming anywhere else.
I went through their catalog one night, spent like 2 hours, and I just added everything to my watch list, made my own like little queue of stuff that, like, they have stuff that's in HD on there that I don't know how they have HD copies of. And I watched them and I'm like, holy shit, this looks really fucking good.
Well, let's jump into our next segment. This next movie, I think, was on Amazon Prime or Amazon for a while to rent digitally. It did say it was HD, or it is HD. I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll talk about it. But let's get into VHS Oh My God.
Nikki.
Well, here we are at last. Right where we ought to be. On video. Oh my God!
So
this is another flick that you have mentioned to me before, and we're finally sitting down to talk about it. It's 8 Million Ways to Die.
Where is Sarah?
You don't make the rules here today, baby.
Jeff Bridges, star of Jagged Edge and Starman.
You're gonna blow the deal, man.
Roseanne Arquette, star of Desperately Seeking Susan and Silverado.
You got Sonny killed.
They're in trouble. In love.
For a half-assed hooker, you're an extremely arrogant woman, you know that?
And in way over their heads. It's murder, prostitution, drugs, and passion. Announcing the video cassette release of a sensational detective thriller.
Now cut her loose! What? Won't we love you, baby?
Anything can happen when there's 8 million ways to die.
Now, I didn't get to watch the full movie.
Oh.
It's not available anywhere. It was unable to rent digitally at all anywhere. It's available through other means that I did not have time.
Oh, you can't find it on YouTube.
And I know I didn't have time or even the access to find it elsewhere.
Yeah. This is an oddball because apparently what you said is Kino is releasing this.
Kino is going to be
this year.
Yeah, late spring or early summer is what they told me, and I actually got direct confirmation from them. So they're going to be releasing this on Blu-ray, motherfuckers.
Special edition.
Special edition. So like,
you
need to tell the story because I'm hoping that through the special edition we get to hear the story from the mouths of people that were there. Hopefully, maybe Hal Ashby.
Hal Ashby's dead.
He's dead. Fuck. Then maybe Jeff Bridges. Maybe
Jeff Bridges is around.
Maybe they can get Oliver Stone. Probably not, but maybe.
I don't think they'll get Oliver Stone.
All right, you go ahead, man. Tell us the story of 8 Million Ways to Die.
8 Million Ways to Die is the best disaster. It's a beautiful disaster. 8 Million Ways to Die is directed by Hal Ashby, which, I mean, here's the first thing. If you were to tell me that Hal Ashby is directing a movie and Oliver Stone is writing the screenplay, I would say, holy fucking shit, like, this sounds absolutely amazing. And it is. However, I mean, we're talking about Hal Ashby has made some of the most, like, prolific, like, he's one of the most prolific filmmakers out there. He has made one of my favorite movies of all time, Harold and Maude. He's made, Shampoo, Being There. I mean, he's made some great films. And this movie has everything going for it behind the scenes. It has, an upcoming screenplay, a screenwriter, Oliver Stone, which he wasn't like huge at the time that this was made. But I mean, we have Jeff Bridges in the film. We have Rosanna Arquette. We have Andy Garcia, and then we have Alexandra Paul, who's an upcoming actress. So, like, everything is happening. This movie has a huge budget. Everything's going for it. And then, all of a sudden, after, like, most of the film's finished, they fire Hal Ashby from the project, and it goes into the hands of, basically, the producers in the company. Which is a huge mistake, because now Hal Ashby's vision is going to be even ruined even more, because that's actually the last thing to happen of the story. So the very first thing that just goes wrong is that there were a lot of arguments, and now this is all word of mouth, so I can't wait until like we have a definitive story, because if there is a special edition of this movie, we're going to hopefully get the gritty details, because this movie was it was purposely buried, basically, by producers. The director didn't want his name attached to it. Oliver Stone didn't want his name attached to it. The screenwriter that took over, I think there's 2 screenwriters that took over. They wanted their name off of the movie. I'm surprised Alan Smithee wasn't all over this movie. So basically, they fired Oliver Stone. They didn't want him on the set. They didn't want, they wanted a rewrite. So basically they hired this writer to come in, do a quick rewrite, made the movie even bigger than it was, didn't happen, got into arguments, he was kicked off set. Hal Ashby then takes the script and then gets rid of it. And he doesn't want anybody to follow.
Incredible.
What, like, this is the truth. Now, this is this is what I've, like, had people, like, I've heard interviews say, is he took the script and didn't want anybody to follow it. He wanted everybody to do improv and improv the action.
Oh, my God.
So basically, on set, you have one of the most notable filmmakers, like in Hollywood at the time, saying, all right, action. And then you don't know what to fucking do. And knowing that, watching the movie, it's even more fun, because now you can tell the actors are just fucking nervous, because there is at times where there's just endless banter, and it's like, wait, where is this movie going? And it's just like back and forth, like, yeah. Like, oh my God, like, what? Fucking say something else. There is a sequence in the film, and I don't know where this come from, because I guarantee you Oliver Stone did not write this in the fucking screenplay. This sounds like a fucking joke to piss off somebody. In the film, Andy Garcia is a Scarface-esque character. So when he pulls up in his fucking grand Cadillac or whatever he's driving, his driver gets out, and instead of smoking cigars, instead of cracking open a bottle of wine, instead of fucking doing something menacing, he has a snow cone maker in the back of his trunk. I am not fucking kidding you. This motherfucker has a snow cone maker. And during these intense conversations with Scudder, which is the Jeff Bridges character, they're eating snow cones and biting into them like angry, like being angry eating them. And I'm like, wait a second, what the fuck is happening? Why are people eating snow cones? Like, it's just completely out of left field.
I tried finding that scene on YouTube. I couldn't find it. It's been removed.
And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why you probably can't find this movie that well is because I think still to this day, people are like, I'm glad that it's got a Blu-ray release, but and people don't want this movie to be seen because it is a disaster. Like, everything that's going on in the movie is just, like, it's just off. Like, you just know, like, oh my God, something's wrong. Like, the dialogue in the film, I haven't watched the movie in a while, so this isn't like word for word, but it's pretty goddamn close. So in the film, Alexandra Paul and Jeff Bridges kind of have this thing going on. She enters his hotel room. He's kind of a player anyway. Enters his apartment, and she disrobes in front of him, getting into the shower. And above the toilet, there is a window, and the moonlight is passing through, illuminating her body, which Alexandra Paul is a beautiful woman, as we all know. And she says the line, I believe it is, does my pussy hair glisten in the moonlight?
Holy mother.
She may not say glisten, but she says pussy hair. I've said a lot of fucked up things in my life. I've said a lot of unsexy things. I've said a lot of sexy things. I've watched a lot of pornography. I've never heard anybody say pussy hair. I could be wrong.
I'm shocked that isn't in the IMDb quotes. Here's a quote though. Sarah says to Scudder, "You're just an opportunistic prick who'd fuck mud if it'd move a little and not argue too much."
No, that's how the whole fucking movie is. Like, every line that they say, it's just like, oh my God, like, why are you saying this? It doesn't make any sense. Why I'm talking, Google the pussy hair quote, because I want to make sure that's it, because I'm almost positive. Like, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but, like, I've seen it a few times in the past, and I showed it to actually a group of friends, like, maybe about a year and a half ago, and my one buddy that came over, Chris, he's a huge Hal Ashby fan. He's like, this is the one movie I haven't seen. I can't find it anywhere. And I was like, dude, I have a copy of A Million Ways to Die.
Here's the quote.
Okay.
The street light makes my pussy hair glow in the dark.
There it is. Okay. Not movie. Okay. So, still.
Oh my God.
Glisten, moonlight, none of that is relevant aside that she actually says pussy hair.
I think she says, like, cotton.
What?
I think the rest of the quote, she says something like, glow in the dark like cotton candy.
Oh, my God. Well, like...
Yeah, that's the full quote.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
mean?
That's the thing, is every line in the film is like that. And if it is true about throwing away that screenplay and having all improv, everybody needs to, like, go back to acting class. Even if it is Andy Garcia, even if it is Jeff Bridges, what possesses you to say that? And if you're a screenwriter, why the fuck would you write it?
Right.
But that could be just how Ashby fucking with people as well.
It sounds like he knew the film was going to get taken away from him, and he just was like, screw it, I'm going to do my own thing. Here we go.
That's the thing, is because I don't think, like, from what I've read, because I've done some, digging on this movie, and it's really hard to find anything concrete because everybody just dismissed the movie. Like, this movie had a huge fucking budget. Like, at the time, it was probably fucking maybe $20 million. I don't know. But the movie just fucking collapsed.
It says $18 million.
Oh, Jesus Christ. A fucking $18 million movie fucking bombs hard at the box office.
Made about just over $1 million.
Because no one wanted them to see it. And of course they, were going to just take a chance. So they slap it in theaters. Fucking no one really is editing this movie that is part of the crew anymore, because everybody just fucking disbands. No one wants to be a part of it. People don't want it released. Everybody wants their name taken off of it. Hal Ashby's fired. Like, who the fuck fires Hal Ashby? And, like, if I remember correctly, the screenplay that the screenwriter that they brought in, like, changed a bunch of shit. Like, quadrupled the budget for what he wanted to do, and then no one wanted to. The producers didn't want to do that, so then they just settled with like this fucking the action, like the big ending to the film. This big explosive ending. It's great. Like, it's a great fucking ending. But it's like, there's supposed to be more going on. It's like, hey, let's rent out this big warehouse. Let's have a huge shootout with like 500 guys. All right, we can't afford that. Let's just have 4 in this huge fucking warehouse. That's what it turns out to be. It's like a car is parked in the corner. Somebody's in a chair. Fucking Scudder's going nuts. And, like, just shooting randomly in the fucking warehouse. And it's like, wait a second. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be more people in this scene. But it turns out to be only, like, 4 fucking people. But like I said, like, as much shit as I could talk about the film, like, the movie is over-the-top great because it's just so fucking... Like, I don't know if this has ever happened in the history of cinema before. Anything like this story. Like, there's always horror stories.
Yeah, but this is extreme.
Of people getting fired, people leaving set, actors...
James Cameron got locked out of the editing room for Piranha 2, but then he like, snuck into the editing room and...
Right, I mean, fucking, the story of Richard Stanley sneaking on set of Island of Dr. Moreau being one of the creatures. Like, there's all those, like, cool little stories. Yeah. But this movie, everything about it fucking collapsed. Screenwriter, fucking director... Producers backing out, no one being happy, and it's like we're not shutting down production. We're just going to make stuff up as we go along.
That's incredible. This is based on a book by Lawrence Block.
Yeah, and then
that Scudder.
Yeah,
a recurring character.
Scudder? Yeah, Matt Scudder.
Yeah, Matt Scudder, and Liam Neeson played him in a movie from a couple years back that we've spoke about. The Tombstone movie.
Walk Among
the Tombstones.
So, but, I mean, don't watch a shitty copy of 8 Million Ways to Die. Wait for the Blu-ray. Please watch this movie. I have a feeling that once this comes out, it's going to become kind of a cult movie now. Because at right now, like, you literally can't find this movie anywhere. You can try to find a VHS. They're out there.
They're out there for a couple bucks.
I've seen them in the wild. I mean, It's not like something super rare. It's on DVD in the UK. Mm-hmm. It has, streamed before, apparently. So it's not, like, impossible to find. But the reason why it's kind of difficult is because of the history behind it. And people just didn't want it to be seen. And it needs to be seen because... all the things going again. Here's the thing: is all these movies that have had problems, that are in development hell, that are in production hell. All these. Whenever you hear a movie's in development hell, it turns out to be a shitty movie at the end anyway. When a movie's in production hell and it takes like 4 years for it to come out, they release it. It's shit. 8 Million Ways to Die is not shit because for some reason, like you have so many great people behind it. That it still is a fun, good movie. Like, even though everything is, like, going against it, it still actually redeems itself at the very end, which is fucking spectacular. Like, something like that can happen.
Yeah. Well, it's about someone overcoming his alcoholism.
Oh, dude, no. Like, we're not, like, when he... that's another thing. When he plays a drunk...
Oh, man, Jeff Bridges drunk is fantastic.
Here's the thing, is that I think he might have been drunk for real.
Probably, because there's a few scenes I saw, and one of them was him drunk. It's like, wow.
Well, everybody overacts. That's the thing, because I think, like, they were so fucking nervous. I guarantee you that some of these shots were just like, Hal Ashby probably said, all right, motherfuckers, get on set, action. And then everybody was like, oh shit, what the fuck do we do? And it's like that someone starts talking, and then they finish a scene, and then Hal Ashby is like, all right, cut. And they're like, oh my god, what? Like, that was not our best. That's how I felt. Like, that's how you feel the movie's happening. Because these dialogue sequences and kind of just this rambling on between the actors. Like, I honestly, if I remember correctly, there's a scene with Andy Garcia and Jeff Bridges where they're just like looking at each other, and there's like a silence, and they're like, okay, yeah? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like, want to say something else? Like, they just didn't know what to do. And then that was the cut that they used, because they only shot it one time. That's what it feels like.
Nice.
So, my God, please, Kino, please have this. Like, you announced this last year. Well, you said it in October, right, Sean?
So, yeah.
You said this in October. You're given almost 9 months, and this is, you never do special editions. You always do bare bones disc for the most part. But please let this be something special, because this is a story that needs to be told.
Agreed.
So God, please let this be like fucking commentaries and interviews, because I want to know the true story behind it. Because, like I said, no one talks about it. Hal Ashby's dead. Oliver Stone doesn't talk about it at all. I don't have Jeff Bridges' cell phone number, so I can't call him to ask him. But I want to know, like, the truth behind this movie and the fucking disasters that happened.
I think Jeff Bridges is at a point now he doesn't care. Like, I think
you have his cell phone number?
No, I know, yeah. But I think he would be totally willing to at least give his experience with it.
I think the actors would, because I think it's...
Andy Garcia probably would, too.
It's done now. I mean, yeah. Oliver Stone's kind of a prick. He probably doesn't want to talk about it at all. And like I said, Hal Ashby died,
Oliver Stone's too busy re-editing Alexander again.
So, but anyways, like, I really want people to talk and just, and tell, like, stories that happen. Like, I adore, because I adore this movie. Like, this is the one movie that it's a fucking car accident. It's so bad and so horrific, and you're like, oh God, I hope no one's hurt. But you just keep looking to see if you see some blood on the pavement.
Yeah.
That's this movie, man.
Awesome. We'll keep you guys updated on when it will be coming out. But, yeah, we're told late spring, early summer. So this feels like a summertime movie for sure. It feels like a movie that would come out in summertime.
Oh, God, I can't wait.
I can't wait to see it either. It'll be my first time watching the full film.
Please wait, and I will give daily fucking reminders about this movie.
Nice. Well, I'm glad we find out that it's actually coming out, because I was starting to get bummed as I was starting to watch whatever I can find on YouTube. I was like, man, I really need to see this full movie. And then where'd my phone go?
It was on the floor earlier, it said.
Yeah. I've been interrupted so many times during this, here it is, this podcast. I was going to try to see who let me know about it, but I can't find the name right now. So if it was you, thank you. You gave me some links to Blu-ray.com about Kino, and then I tracked down Kino to try to ask them, and they responded right away. So that was very cool.
Yeah.
Hold on, my dog wants to come in. Jesus Christ.
Bailey.
All right. We're going to continue with no edits here.
Yeah.
So there's been a handful of you who have been doing recurring payments through PayPal, through the site over at our donate link at thescreamcast.com. We keep talking Patreon. That seems like something that would have to manage way too much with my crazy schedule. Like, I don't know, but if you want to be able to donate to the show, it helps with certain shipping prices out and things like that. You can either buy the merchandise stuff, which I need to get more mugs and stuff like that. You can buy the pins that we have, but you can also donate with these recurring payments. So we wanted to do a huge thank you to a handful of you who've done this. Kevin McDonald, Luis Soto, Christopher Bellevue, and if I butcher your name, I apologize. Ron Compostine, and let's see here. I think that's it.
Still.
But thank you guys. You guys don't really have to do that. I know that's, it's just really nice of, you guys who have every month since we did that donate thing, have been donating to the podcast. So it's hugely appreciated. You guys talk to us all the time.
You guys keep the website running.
Yeah. And all of you, all of them, talk to us, on Facebook and Twitter, and we're always having dialogues.
Some are daily basis.
Luis is always letting us know when new stuff's coming out. Like before I could even find it, like all of a sudden he's tweeting at me, "This is coming out by Scream Factory" or whatever.
Yeah, he's on it, man.
So I feel like there's one more that I'm missing that started doing it but has since dropped off. But like whatever you guys, I mean, there's probably been a few of you who've just donated one-time donations and stuff like that. So thank you. It's very much appreciated. Any support you guys can give the show is great. The pins are super fun. We want to keep doing those and make it work. So we have a lot of those, the bloody ballet ones.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about it. Buy them as gifts. And there's also we're running lower on the oily ones, so I would grab that one before it gets sold out. We have some ideas for some other ones. We're probably going to approach it a different way, so we just aren't sitting on a bunch of stock, but we'll keep guys in the loop about the next pin that we do. I used to have mugs, and I want to do stickers and like just logo buttons. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I can put some buttons up on the site too. So if there's certain things you guys would want to buy or whatever to support the show, hit us up with some ideas, because there's a sky's the limit, I think, with our logo on shit. So just let us know. But all of you who've bought pins and mugs and stickers, and actually I haven't sold the stickers, but I give those always free with shit. So, but yeah, and all of those of you who have supported our sponsors, Coffee Shop of Horrors, Grindhouse Video, who've bought Vinegar Syndrome stuff, and bought Kevin Spencer's artwork. You guys are a huge reason why we've kept this thing going. So believe me, I've wanted to stop doing the podcast so many times, but Brad keeps dragging me back.
Oh man, there it is. Finally, you go public about it. So yeah, I mean, we've had conversations, because I mean, honestly, like, I mean, from everything, like, if we literally didn't have as many fans as we do and many listeners, like, just looking at the listeners that we have is overwhelming. Having the people that contact us and talk to us on Twitter's, it's just kind of crazy. Like, people actually listen to us and don't get annoyed by my voice, which I'm thankful for. But
my lack of knowledge about anything.
Sean has come to me a few times and is like, I don't know, man. And it's like, yeah, we got this, man. Like, we'll keep doing it until no one's listening anymore. And I think our third year is coming up?
Yeah, man, it's ridiculous.
We've been doing this for almost 3 years.
This thing was just supposed to be some bullshit thing for me to pass the time every now and then.
Yeah, I think we're going on year 3, right?
Yeah, I start feeling bad if we can't make, if we miss a week, you know what I mean? Like, that happens, but it's just because I know that those of you are out there, wanting, to do your, to listen to the show while you get through your job. Like, I know we have people who are, post office workers or postal drivers, and people that are truck drivers, and people who sit in the office. Like, I get it. Like, I try to listen to podcasts when I can during my work, and there's a lot of times where I feel like shit, and a certain podcast will help me get through the day. Like, the fact that we're like that podcast SMU is crazy. So we appreciate all the feedback. We appreciate that you guys listen, and it really does mean a lot. We're getting sappy, but it's the beginning of the year. We can get sappy at the beginning of the year. It's 2017.
Yeah, we can get sappy.
And, so thanks, you guys. Tell people about the podcast. I don't know. Don't judge us.
Well, you stuck with us through fucking 100 and some episodes in 3 years. I think they're not going anywhere unless we say. No. We pissed a few people off. We've had a few listeners that be like, "Fuck you guys, I'm not listening anymore." And it's like, all right, fuck you too, bye.
Yeah.
We're not here to fucking, this is not a race for us. We're not trying to beat anybody. That's the thing, is like, a lot of these websites and a lot of these podcasts are in competition. I'm like, wait, aren't we supposed to be all for the same thing? We're all celebrating movies and telling people about movies and, turning people on to new things. Like, we're not in a fucking race for more listeners or.
There's no way we're quitting our day jobs anytime soon to do this full time.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like, this is a fucking side project, dude.
I spend more money doing this than I do. I'm sure my wife would be super happy if I stopped doing this. I'd probably be able to budget things a lot better, but yeah, anyway, getting long-winded, but there's a long way around to say we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
If whatever you can do to help support the show, whether it's telling people about us, interacting online, telling people online, supporting our sponsors, and even just donating through the little donate link. Whatever you guys can do is very much appreciated. We don't say thank you enough, I feel like, but I want to start singling out more people who help. And we'll try to do that. We'll get you guys involved even more this year. So I have some ideas on getting everyone involved, and we'll see if they work or if they crash and burn. But at least we'll give them a shot. All right, that's gonna do it for this week's show, man. We're
Yay!
Done.
See ya.
I wanted to give a shout out to a podcast I discovered. It's called Death Metal Dads. It's great. Check it out.
Cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll talk to all you guys next week. Make sure you check out all the other oneofus.net podcasts. They're fantastic.
Buy from Grindhouse Video.
Buy from Grindhouse Video and all that good stuff. We'll talk to all you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.
You didn't say goodbye.
Bye.
Jerk.
I said bye already.